best of Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
By the way, one thing we haven't done thus far, and it's, what's the date?
The date is the 19th of January.
So we're more than halfway through January, and I don't think anyone has fessed up to a New Year's resolution. Mine, this is a serious one, actually. You got to look at your faults. Try and look at your faults.
Oh, God.
Okay.
And sort them out.
We'll do that, love. We'll do that for you.
So one thing I've noticed I do, and I'm not counting this on the show because this is a slightly different.
This is IRL.
We are a three-headed monster. Do you know what I mean? We speak as one in many ways.
So this is IRL.
So what I do, I've found in company, is I interrupt people quite a lot.
With funny things to say?
Well, sometimes, and sometimes just helping them to be more interesting.
You never struck me as an interrupter.
Perhaps I don't interrupt you as much, you see, but I've realised that a lot of my friends, there's that moment where I see them go, oh, because I've come in to speak.
Why don't you interrupt us then? Maybe you're frightened of me.
I think I do, but it's not so bad because you're being paid.
Okay.
It's more acceptable. You're right, it's more acceptable. But also, I would, if I may say, I would suggest that maybe Frank doesn't interrupt you as much as the people that he's talking about, Emily, because you're already funny and interesting, and that's what he's trying to bring them up to speed.
What are you saying about my friends?
That's what
They're two of the nicest people I know.
Boring though, aren't they?
Well, I've realised now, of course, I've been carrying them for years.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, this is starting to happen, though, is now I'm not interrupting people. I'm thinking...
You're falling asleep.
Yeah.
It's unbearable.
For God,
It's weird.
I thought they were interesting, but I realised now it was just smart editing on my part. Honestly, people go on and on.
Well, you need,
such
and
a
then you have to
coincidence.
sort of usher them off the chat show.
Yeah.
This is the thing.
Really, though, I mean...
What sort of interruptions will you make, Frank? So in a conversation with one of your friends?
One of the reasons, I think, is as I've got older, sometimes I think of something brilliant to say, and by the time I've let them finish their dreary sentence, I've forgotten it. And I think you just have to, you have to have a scales in your mind of what's worth it. And, there's a famous thing, isn't there, that Alan Shearer would push people out the way and to go for a ball in a sort of I'm better. I'm good at this. You better leave it to me. And I don't. It's that. But so I've letting people now witter on.
Oh yeah.
And I'm starting to think it's not done me any favours. It's not doing them any favours.
I think you're right. I'm just making a New Year's resolution now to interrupt people more. I don't want to have to go through this that Frank's going through.
It's amazing what you can do with some interruptions and a bit of guidance.
Yeah.
And that you can actually turn people into sort of a relatively interesting companion. But if you let them just roam free, I mean, honestly, I don't know where they get on when I'm not there. It must be beyond tedious.
The best of Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
I think I'm going to try and change my outlook on the world. My natural disposition, I think, might be a little bit dour.
No.
I think it might. I'll give you an example.
Take that back.
Well, I'm going to do a little test. I tried to take my daughter swimming recently, and we got to the swimming pool, and I thought, wow, the car park's very empty at the pool, very quiet. Could be a good sign. We might get the whole pool. Great. We walked up to the door, and they said there was a sign up saying the gym is open, but the pool is closed due to an incident. Right, just a piece of paper.
Oh dear. I went back. Where this is going.
Well, I went back and I mentioned it to my wife, and she said, that's, someone's done a solid in the pool.
Oh, is that what it is?
And then I said to somebody else, then they said someone's done a solid in the pool, and my first thought was fatality. So that's obviously that I'm the baddie in this, aren't I?
Oh, because
by the way, I've no resolution. I don't know what it was, but my brain went much worse than everybody else's. Three people I mentioned it to, and they all thought it was just a toilet incident.
Well, I'd be prepared to swim if it was just that.
What, a solid or a fatality?
Yeah, not with the fatality. I'd feel disrespectful. But if
I'd be happier swimming with a fatality.
Yeah, I think
than
I
with
would.
that.
It's more
Oh,
self-contained, isn't it?
I can swim around that, whereas that permeates.
no, I feel
I agree.
I think.
I would honestly rather swim with a
No, you're
corpse.
joking. What about when you
I'm not.
swam? What about when you swam over them?
I don't care. I would
gonna be
honestly
honest.
feel more comfortable with a corpse.
You are what?
I would.
mean, that broken Britain.
No, I agree with Emily. I think.
Really?
But if there's been a solid,
Would
I
you
think they need
rather
to
swim?
change the
Would
water.
you rather swim with excrement or a corpse?
I knew this had legs. At first, I thought there was a tension, but I knew it had legs. It's one of the life's great dilemmas, isn't it?
It could be. Can the lady from Guinness Book of Records please send me the best ever texting on Breakfast Radio certificate? Oh my goodness! Well, I'm
So
surprised.
you really would go excrement?
I'm not messing around now. I'm.
Please, let's not talk about messing around. Stop your messing around.
I'm horrified that you'd rather swim
We
with
didn't
the
say
deceased.
anything about that.
No, that you'd rather swim with the deceased than the discarded.
Well, you want to change your water, don't you?
Well, no, but there's a lot of water there. I mean, if you
Exactly.
had a pint of beer and an insect landed on the top, say some sort of, I don't know, crane fly, and you took that off, it's been in there, but you think, well, it's a small insect and a big pint. You'd carry on drinking, wouldn't you? You wouldn't reject that. Wouldn't you?
Yeah, you're
Well,
right.
there you go.
Well, 736.
Yeah, all of it.
It really would depend on how long the corpse had been there.
Oh,
That's Trevor.
Yeah.
it's getting worse, you see. I wouldn't be at all bothered how long the poo had been there.
806, Defo Corpse.
There's absolutely loads of these.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
can't believe I'm in a minority on this.
What about 010, Al? I'm with Emily. I'd rather swim with the dead than poo. That's from Fran.
I'm really. If you'd have
quote
asked me
for a
to
book.
predict this, I would have said if you got one person who would prefer the deceased to the discharged.
Yeah.
Really?
Well, Al, what about we've got a pool
What is it with
engineer?
people? Oh, pool engineer. He'll have an interesting. He or she.
398. This is Dave. I'm
Okay.
a pool engineer. Unbeknown to swimmers, they swim in fecal matter every swim. Seems a bit extreme to empty the pool to me, just because you can see it.
Oh, he's
from Dave.
bringing an expert view.
Yeah, I think he speaketh sooth.
Oh dear.
They didn't empty the pool, do they?
Well,
They
I'd
have
like them
those.
to. I'd like to think
All
they
you
would.
need's a butterfly net.
Yeah, you'd think.
Yeah.
To be honest, the pool that I was discussing isn't that clean that I think they would change the water. That was why I was thinking that it was
they don't-
probably
You don't need to change the
probably a
water.
corpse for the admin.
And I speak as a certified snowflake. It wouldn't bother me even slightly. If I could, if it was at my side, like a couple of water wings, it wouldn't bother me. Some people like dolphins, whereas I...
Well, 508 has said, having experienced the swimming with a number 2 in a public pool, I fully agree. Give me a corpse any day.
Oh, what? What number is a corpse on the...
Strange turn of phrase, granted.
Yeah,
It has a number 2. What the hell is a corpse?
He continues, the form
must be
mentioned
7 or 8.
The form mentioned can move a lot quicker across the water, but of course, when you bring it to the attention of the lifeguard, they look at you as if it was yours. You wouldn't get that with a corpse.
That's true.
No.
Although if you
Fair
brought
point.
the corpse to the attention of the lifeguard, wouldn't they feel that you were accusing them,
Yeah.
Yeah.
accusing them of slacking?
Absolute Radio.
The best of Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.
Can I tell you a bit about what happened to me this week?
Okay,
I sent Ray to the dog hotel, first of all.
right.
I'd seen it online, and I like the look of it.
Nice.
It's fabulous. It's almost like a private members club in Somerset. You send them off there, they pick him up.
Is it a kennels though? Essentially,
No, well,
Oh, come
not really.
on. How vulgar.
Sorry.
It's not.
Kind of.
It's all lovely. They have cream Argos and all Farrow and Ball paint. It's called the Country Dog Hotel. They pick him up
Nice.
in a... What I like, they pick him up in a Range Rover. They keep the dog theme.
With Rover, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Rover.
Of course, I mean, if you turn up in a Jaguar, sure he would have chased it
Yeah.
out the street.
Just not let it in.
But I was getting... What's so strange is I was seeing on Instagram pictures of Ray. There's a picture of Les Dennis with Ray.
Really?
Well, yeah.
Does he work there?
It's quite...
Tom Holland's going to do long distance driving, so maybe Les Dennis has lined up.
Les Dennis is running a dog hotel now. That's awful.
He's not running the dog. I think he was involved because Ray was also photographed with Lorraine Kelly. Her dog goes there. David Gandy's dog goes there.
But you weren't there for the photo.
No, human beings aren't allowed in the dog hotel.
Well, what's Les Dennis?
Not even across the threshold.
Has Les Dennis been exposed as an
He's
alien?
a canine.
Yeah. Wow.
He was allowed. I think they were dropping Lorraine's dog back.
Okay.
Angus was being dropped back, and Les Dennis might have been there as well. I don't know.
Absolute madness. Goodness.
Anyway, that's not the point of the story.
Well, but can you tell me about
The point of the story
what are
is
their
Reverend
rooms?
Richard Coles from the Commodores.
What are their rooms
As
like?
he was, as the neighbours called him, they said, "We thought you were from the Commodores." He said, "No, the Communards." They said, "Oh, that's why we were surprised."
Okay.
They said that. They said, "Oh, we didn't think you looked like that."
I know.
What are the rooms like in the dog hotel?
Do they have beds and stuff
Yes,
like
they
in
do.
a hotel room?
Yeah, they ask you because he was sharing with Lorraine Kelly's dog Ray, which I was fine about. I was very happy because I like Lorraine.
Sharing? What, it's like footballers at away games? Wow, do they have a communal bath as well, the dogs?
They do.
What?
But they ask you beforehand. They say, "Do you want a spa treatment for him?" And I
Can I
said,
ask you a
"May as well."
question? How many seconds do you think are between the door being closed and the dog emptying the minibar sweets and chocolates? that white, the Toblerone, the nuts in the jar.
And he'll put the hotel TV on. Do you think they'll have that?
The shortbread on the tea making facilities tray. Oh
Yeah.
man, they'd be straight in.
The best of Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
So the show is 10 years old. We've already had a reprimand, I think.
Have we?
We have, I'm afraid. It is to do with the oppressive 12ths, which we're very strict about normally, Frank.
Yes, I think we might even... we got a clip, I think.
Well, okay.
Coincidentally. We should. This should explain. So this is when this idea first came up on
Okay.
the show. Okay. So when would this have been? Do we know?
This was
No, said the
July
producer.
2014.
July 2014. I'm supposed to go
Wow,
straight into
yeah.
a clip. We weren't expecting this,
Okay.
but as we've had this reprimand, listen in.
Yeah.
It's not an early start by the working person standard, but
Yeah.
we have to start the show at 8. We get here about 7. What time do you set your alarm for on a Saturday morning usually?
545.
6 or 6:05, depending.
Me? 6:03. Because it's recently struck me, why do I have to be a slave to the tyrannical 12th? Every morning it gives me that feeling that I'm a bit of a different thinking guy. Now, the thing with that is I always thought it was the oppressive 12th. That's what I've come to... But the tyrannical 12th is
12th.
much better.
Yeah, it's
The idea is the 12th,
Cashier.
obviously, is that people always split things into 5 minutes. So they'll say, I'll see you at 20:15, 20 past.
Yeah.
Exactly. And
Seldom does someone make an
Dylan-
arrangement for 13 past.
No.
You're right.
so
You're
Dylan
absolutely
Hubble,
right.
the reprimand, he says, how, I repeat, how the Dickens can you, of all people, be paying homage to the oppressive decimals?
Yeah.
I'll
Yes.
tune in for 9 hours and 42 minutes.
Yes, what we should have done is celebrated our 9th or 11th anniversary.
That's a
really.
good point.
Yeah.
It's too late now.
Well, it is. We've got the balloons now.
We've got the balloons.
We've got the balloons. We've got the
We've got the
I've got
silver
the,
tents.
it's our tin anniversary.
Tin.
Yeah,
Oh,
10
yes.
years is
All
tin.
Yeah,
So-
it's a rubbish anniversary tin.
Can you imagine? So
I'll
a
tell you what-
husband turning up with a tin brooch.
I'll tell you what I
From
don't
what?
like about the tin anniversary. Haven't they just... Isn't the 10th anniversary the tin anniversary? Because tin sounds a bit like 10.
Yes.
I mean, is that the best they've got? Will it be our lemon anniversary next year? I think you've got to have someone that feels somehow significant, not just
Yeah.
vaguely sounds a bit like it.
Imagine someone got you a tankard. I'd walk.
So yeah,
I've been given a tankard as a gift in the past.
Have you?
Yeah.
one thing I was a bit concerned about
Yeah.
was
Being thrown off air after 10 hours of broadcasting.
actually I'll tell you this later. The reason I say is that last night I went to bed fairly early because I thought it's going to be a long day tomorrow, 10 hours on the radio. So I went and I have a 6-year-old son called Boz. New readers might not know. So I went to kiss him goodnight, and he said to me, "So it's your 10-hour show tomorrow?" I said, "That's right, yeah." He said, "Is your show the most important show on Absolute Radio?" I said, "Yes." No, I'm sorry to all my colleagues, but it's that you weren't there. And he said, "What's the next most important show?" I said, "Well, way back after us." And I won't say what I said was second, but he said to me, "There's one thing though I don't understand." He said, "Why do you never play We Are the Champions?"
Oh.
And I said, "Well, we do play." He said, "No, you never play." He's a Mad Queen fan.
Well, he made me play that in the car the other day.
Yeah, but when I went to bed and I thought, I realised that the first question was a setup for the second question. Because what he was getting at is because, in a way, we are the champions.
That'll speak for yourself.
Right.
Well, can I say again that, I'm not, this is, obviously I'm not totally sincere that we're the most important show, but when you're talking to a small child late at night and trying to get him to sleep.
Well, one has to agree.
It's no good me going on about, Dave Berry and Jason Manford. It's filling his head with too much stuff, and all our other fabulous presenters. So I realised that it was a request based on the fact that in his mind, based on, in fact, my information, that we are the champions.
Yeah.
Oh, Buzz.
It was a lovely moment.
This is the best of Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
This is Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio, and we're just going into, what is it now, our fifth hour?
We give up past a certain... It's like with my grandfathers. I gave up past number 4 or 5.
Yeah, well, someone texted in, didn't they, and say, "I work 10 hours a day, shot your face."
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's paraphrasing it.
Yeah, paraphrasing.
Someone wrote in to say that their son is a chef, and those were his words, pretty much his words.
Yeah.
He said, "Hi, Frank, I was giving my son Tom a lift to the restaurant where he's one of the chefs this morning and listening to you. He said, 10 hours, I work longer than that every day. That said, congrats, and many more years on Absolute." That's from Mike.
I think we might have been coming across like sort of media elites where a 10-hour shift is considered some kind of
saying, "I can't believe I've got to get up."
It's pretty unusual to do 10 hours solid on the radio.
Yeah.
I think what's made this one particularly distinctive is that we haven't had...
Reviewing it already?
A dip in
but
quality.
What gives it a unique...
Makes it particularly distinctive, barely 3 hours in.
What
Extraordinary behaviour.
What gives my 10-hour radio marathon a unique flavour is there is no charity aspect to it whatsoever. Usually these things are done for good causes. To just do it willfully.
Not here on commercial radio.
No.
It's the sort of the flip side to comic relief.
Yes.
Well, I would like to say, which I know you won't want me to, but I'm afraid I'm a gunner. That's because
you are a gunner.
I am a gunner. I'm a gunner. You do give to charity, but not in the.
No, but I think the idea. But the idea with
he
these,
he gives a lot of money.
The idea with the charity thing
he doesn't do it publicly.
is that the listeners have to do it. Isn't that the idea?
Yeah.
Like when Tess and who was it?
Claudia.
Tess and Claudia.
Lovely Claudia.
Who else would it be? Tess and Claudia did the dance marathon. They raised £1 million.
Yeah.
Did they really?
Yeah.
Amazing.
And you're doing this 10-hour marathon
For free pie and chips.
Catching up on the show via the podcast, and I heard the DME mention the most depressing song ever for her is "There's No Business Like Show Business."
Oh, I can't bear it. It just makes me want to die.
I love it.
They continue.
I mean, it's so true.
You
No.
do love show business.
Al, I'm sorry to interrupt here, but this is how I don't like it. Is
You
when I
aren't.
see school children singing it. No, but I need to explain to him. It's not Shirley Bassey or someone like that. It's school children going, "There's no business like show business." If it's not performed correctly, it's terrible. Over to you, Alan.
Agreed. I'd like to throw another into the mix. This isn't me speaking, it's Prisoner 113. Happy birthday. Most people insist on singing it at an unacceptably slow pace with not a hint of happiness in their faces, as if chanting at some sort of cult ceremony. I try to bring up the pace with overzealous clapping to set a better speed, but I'm usually overruled by the age-old tradition of celebrating someone's new year on the planet with one long mumbly murmur. Praise redacted from Prisoner 113. How do we feel about
Ethel Murmur, who sang "There's No Business Like Show Business"?
it? All links, doesn't it?
Yeah, I know. When
say
they
you?
mention it, it's never occurred to me before. What it does lack a bit of pace. Happy
It's a
birthday.
bit of a dirge, isn't it?
Yeah, you wouldn't normally sing a song at that pace.
No.
Yeah.
Whenever it's sung to me, my method is to raise my arms
Oh, yeah.
in celebration. I find that the least embarrassing, like I've just stepped out of a capsule that's landed in the ocean, having
When we,
done a spacewalk.
When we did the running thing on life hacks, where we were suggesting things for people to help them out in their
Yes.
life, you never told anyone that it's less embarrassing to hear happy birthday just with your arms aloft.
No, you're right. There you go.
Great.
There you go, everyone. Suddenly, it looks like you're outdoing them on the celebration. Usually, you're having it done to you, but on this occasion, you're saying yes. This is correct.
It's great advice,
Yeah.
Frank.
The best of Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Let's have a proper radio texting.
Oh, yeah, go on then. What is
Like
it?
last week's.
What is it?
No, like what
you
about
rather?
unusual crush?
Oh, that's good.
Well, mine. No, when I say unusual crush, mine. Do you know Ray from Star Wars?
Oh, yeah.
Daisy.
Yeah. I think... I know exactly who you
Yeah.
mean. Yeah, I know.
Yeah. Well, not actually
Daisy.
her. Not actually Ridley. Not actually her, but there's a... I saw a Lego version of her in Hanley's, and I thought, wow,
Whoa.
looks amazing. Yeah. And I felt a little uneasy around it, and I thought I'm
Yeah,
going to have to get out of it. It's life size.
Oh, was it?
And
Oh, that's
Daisy
a problem.
Ridley, don't get me wrong, is a very attractive woman, but it's never really...
It's the doll.
She's never, let's say, floated my boat, but I
Right.
think she's brilliant in the film.
Yeah.
She's scenic. I'm not denying
She's
that.
scenic.
But there was something about her Lego
The doll.
version.
Okay, Frank, that is up there. I'm going to...
Can I say one other one
Please
that I picked
do.
up quite recently? And this
Is
might
this-
mean nothing to
Is
you.
this obscure crushes?
Obscure crush.
Yeah, come on.
The tiger in Kung Fu Panda. Something really sort of slinky and it's very hard to say. Obviously slightly feline, but very words I can't use. But you know,
I don't
sensual.
like this. Kath's
Yeah.
going to start seeing ads popping up. Tiger Sanctuary. What about my... surely you remember one of my obscure crushes?
I can remember your obscure crush.
Who
Oh,
is it,
Vince
please?
Cable.
Vince Cable.
Oh, I'd hardly call that obscure.
Oh, and
That's
Henry
brilliant.
VIII.
I think you're forgetting the third one.
Who's
Okay.
that?
Son of canoe man John Darwin.
Oh,
yes,
I've only
of
ever seen
course.
one photograph of
Excellent
him.
work.
In a Sunday Times supplement, there was a photograph of him. It was
Very
based on
good.
one photo alone, but I just thought he looked attractive.
Well,
That is
people have met on that basis, of course. It's in the modern world.
The Darwins are hard to track down.
Well, yeah, exactly. Where do you park your kayak when you meet him? Yeah.
My one's difficult. 'cause
What's
it's
yours?
never going to be realised. Never.
What is it?
Well, I
You know,
doubt
there's
Tiger in Kung Fu Panda. It's gonna come off.
That's a good point. You make a very good point. Do you know the Netflix television series Making a
Theresa
Murderer?
May?
You know the Making a Murderer series?
Yes.
The victim, Teresa Holbeck. I fancy Teresa Holbeck.
Oh,
She's pretty.
I haven't seen this. Do you mean she's...
She's no longer
She's
with
no longer
us.
with us.
no longer with us.
But there's
Okay.
quite a
I
few
know it's Henry
pictures of
VIII,
her as a nice, happy young woman. She's
Okay.
pretty. Like,
Well, I think
obscure
that's-
crush.
Her memory lives on.
Yeah.
Lovely. Have you seen her in Lego?
No, not yet.
Oh, not yet.
The best of Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
We've got a number of sort of texts on the go. There's some talking about monocle wearers, famous monocle wearers.
Who we got? Is it all Patrick Moore?
Well, Andy Laurie has pointed out, is the monocle an exclusively male affectation?
Good point.
Perhaps male aristocrats find unilateral squinting comes naturally to them. For mere mortals, it is impossible as well as ridiculous. Just a thought. Love you, Andy Laurie in Sheffield.
Yeah.
Is that our kind of person?
I love unilateral squinting.
Yeah.
I wonder if it's something to do with the shape of the female face.
Oh, maybe.
Well, not that they all look the same, but they tend to be more aquiline, don't they?
Well, I think it's more to do with the fact. I mean, didn't you get the sort of elderly Victorian aunt? I would imagine with some sort of eyeglass. The eyeglass. She would hold it up on a lanyard.
It's right now, I cannot in my mind now picture a woman in a monocle.
Oh,
Me
that's a
neither.
relief to all of us.
Try harder. We've also
I don't
had
want
a
you
bit of an
picturing us in
update.
monocles, thank you.
We had a bit of an update on the idea that they might be half the price of glasses.
Oh, yeah.
Or spectacals.
Oh, wow, that'd be a good one for you to cover, maybe.
115, yeah. In regards to monocles, I have a gammy left eye.
Don't.
Where-
It makes me sick when people use that phrase.
Continues.
that eyes.
I'll continue. You'll feel great all the way through this now. Whereas my right eye is 20/20. I think that means vision.
yeah, that's
I don't
good.
think it means in the future.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't mean it plays limited overs cricket.
My left is about as clear as a pint of pond scum. Hence, I
Oh,
tried to
dear.
acquire a monocle.
Broken Britain.
Yeah. Dot, dot,
Horrible. I
dot.
hate eyes and eggs. I hate
Not
them.
easy. Well, I like eggs. Not easy, the continuing, meaning acquiring a monocle. I could only find 2 suppliers online and they were double the price of a pair of glasses.
What? How can that
What?
be? Because you know what?
What the?
When I said they should be half price, I was actually letting them off light because there's no stem.
Are they still
the
talking
one
about the
you've
cost
got-
of things? Okay.
We're talking sole stem.
Agreed. Kenny from Edinburgh continues, the optician has suggested a pair of glasses with the left eye lens like a jam jar base and a clear thin lens in the right eye aperture. I'm glad I'm not the only one that's had an issue with this.
No, so can I? If a person with one leg goes into a shoe shop,
Anyone else feel
What's
tense? Anyone else feel tense?
I think you can.
Here, Alan. Perfectly safe territory with eyes.
I'm pretty sure we're about to drop off air, but go on.
No,
Yeah.
do they have to buy a pair of shoes?
I've still got your number, so we'll keep in touch.
Yeah, yeah, I think
Do they have to buy a pair? Or
that is a very good
why?
texting.
Why? Damn,
This is
damn
one
it.
of my favourite texting.
Why should they be forced into buying 2 shoes they
It's
don't
very
need?
inclusive texting.
Yeah.
actually.
It's not a campaign I expected you to get behind, but
Well,
it's
there's-
lovely that you care.
every comedian now seems on Twitter seems to have activist after
Oh,
their name. So
man,
this
it makes
is
me
me.
Is this
sick.
so this is yours?
This is me.
All right, the
monocle availability and
2 shoes or 1.
shoe pair refusal rights.
Yeah.
That's what I'm fighting for.
The problem with a monocle
Yeah.
is that if the wearer becomes surprised or shocked and raises an eyebrow, it will fall off.
It's on a string, though.
What if you were a string?
It's
What
on-
are you going to Alan's shop? What if you were driving a car whilst wearing a monocle and there was an accident? They see, and you were cut up. It falls off and there's an accident as a result.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I think that
That's from David.
They've got to have a rule.
the simple thing there is to have a monocle suspended from the ceiling of the car that you just peer through.
When you say it's on a string, I mean
Or
on a
just
sort
a
of
car
slinky
window.
metal what is the attachment system with a monocle? A
sort of
slinky
it's usually a string that fits into the
metal, I presume.
Into the waistcoat.
String.
No, yeah, it tucks into the
waistcoat.
you know, the lapel, the
A
buttonhole
chain,
of
you
the
mean?
lapel. Yeah, well, it's normally a string, I think. I'm thinking Mr. Peanut.
It's not
Okay.
a pocket watch.
Where
That's
does
what you're
Mr.
thinking.
Where does the end of Mr. Peanuts? Mr. Sounds like a pet name for the I use at home. Where does the end of Mr. Peanut's monocle string?
Is this like a tree falling in the forest question?
Where's it attached? That's what I'm asking. He doesn't wear I don't think he wears a jacket or
got
a
a waistcoat.
waistcoat. Where does, let's call it, the non-business end of Mr. Peanut's monocle string get attached?
I think it's
12,
attached to him.
15. I mean, they're fibrous peanut shells, but I don't think they'd
Yeah.
take a sharp...
Not over time.
no, he'd be...
They're greasy as
Wear
well.
and tear.
Greasy.
Once he'd been pierced,
It would slip off, Frank.
that'd be the end. I'd be drying. Internal drying.
Yeah.
Internal drying would finish off Mr.
This is the best of Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
Have you seen the Simon Cowell advert for Barclaycard or whatever it is?
No.
Imagine that I bought you for your birthday a Simon Cowell candle. And that you had it lit for an entire evening at home, and when you got up the next morning, you had to look at it and thought, "Oh, that's ruined." I know we shouldn't mock the appearance of people anymore in the modern comedy world, but when they've paid for it, I think it's kind of all right. What on earth?
Haven't seen it.
He's aging so bad that is better. I mean, I watch it and I honestly jumped when I first saw it. And this is one of the richest, most popular, loved, successful men on the planet.
Is he?
I think so.
I think so.
Well, if it's him, I don't know. He looked like somebody from Slipknot was doing an advert for. Is he Barclaycard?
Oh, is it?
Don't know.
What if it's not him? Maybe he's in the witness protection programme.
Oh, maybe.
Okay, well, I'm gonna
He
look
shouldn't
this
be doing
up.
adverts if he is, to be honest. Look it up, but brace yourself.
Okay.
I mean, God bless him. I never met him. He's been nice to me, but that should not have been allowed to happen. I'll tell you what happened. I started my my stand-up extravaganza began this
Oh,
week.
yes. How's it going, Frank?
So I started my run at the Leicester Square Theatre.
Yeah.
So I had to get in an hour early. Sigh. On Monday for the sound check thing.
Oh,
you know.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So anyway, I went up to the. I walked in because I couldn't work out how to get in the stage door thing.
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh, dear.
I went through the main entrance.
Right.
And it was early because I'd arrived early for the sound check. So I went up to the box office and I said to her, I've come to do a sound check. She said, we haven't been told anything. I said, yeah, I've got a sound check at 6 o'clock.
Can you get me that bucket to vomit in?
She said, what kind of a sound check are you doing? I said, well, I don't understand. I said, I'm doing a sound check. I'm doing a sound check. She said, for a film. I said, no. I'm doing it for a stand-up show. She said, this is a cinema. And I'd walked into the place next door. And I said to this young woman as I left, I said, I'm terribly sorry. I said, this is what happens to you when you get older. I said, enjoy your youth. And she said, I will. Yeah, it was. Oh man, what a start! What a start!
She must have been thinking, where are his overalls?
It was
doing the sound check.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I should have had one of those little boxes.
Acme overall.
Oh dear, that was before the show had even begun. I'd already had a terrible senior moment.
The best of Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.
We should probably discuss last week's Eurovision Song Contest performance by the artist known as Madonna, who I think was performing under a character. She does sometimes do characters, doesn't she?
Does she?
Yeah.
Well, it's the first I heard of it.
Madame X.
Madam X, that's
I
right.
didn't know that.
Yeah, she does that thing, what's it called? Like a doppelganger, not
Alter ego.
alter egos.
Yeah.
That's the one. Doppelgangers. What an idiot I am,
You have to turn
Oh,
around 3
come
times
on.
now
honestly.
if you say doppelganger.
Do I?
There's some weird thing you have to turn around.
If you say doppelganger.
Yes.
Oh, now we've all got to do it.
It's all right, I can do it on my chair. Hold on.
It's the joy of the revolving chair and
Well,
a
the
weird
good
rule,
thing is
isn't
that
it?
our readers won't even notice that I'm doing it. Now, of course, I'm wrapped in. I'm going to have to do it again, guys.
Don't do it.
Sorry.
I'm a little bit concerned that
Hold on
if
to
you do
your
3, you might end
breakfast.
up strangling yourself with that
No,
cable.
everything's fine. Don't worry. Don't panic. Here
it's
we
gone.
are. We're back.
For the readers, he's gone back the way he came, so
Yes.
that it's not.
Yes, it was
Sorry
in
about
Tel Aviv. And
Well, I was a friend of mine who is Jewish said to me it's Tel Aviv.
Really?
Yeah.
oh, is that correct? I do apologise.
So I'm sticking with that.
Okay.
All right. Tel Aviv, and yeah, she was dressed as Madam X, which seemingly involves wearing a black eye patch with some sparkles on it.
I'm unsure about that. Is
The
it
eye
sort of disability chic?
Yes, I felt a bit similar to that.
If I did my tour in a mobility scooter on stage, I think I'd be roundly condemned.
There would be some brouhaha.
There would be, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't see why you can just take on the eye patch as if it's some sort of, comedy, sexy thing.
I think she's showing us her, if I may use
Well,
the
she's shown
football...
us everything else.
If I may use the football commentator's phrase, bounce back ability. You know, when they say that about teams that have been under duress and then they bounce
Yes.
back.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure the last time we discussed Madonna's public performance, she tripped off some stairs.
Yes.
And I think she's saying, not only can I still perform live, but I can still perform live with only one eye. I'm only using one.
Oh,
I think
okay.
she's saying to us, I'm all right, guys.
That was
I
a
don't even
risk.
need my depth
Because
perception.
unable to judge distance, of course, if you've only
yes.
got one eye.
I can't believe she could
If
do
only
that.
she'd remembered the other bit about performing live.
Yeah. Well, maybe that was it. Maybe.
I knew she'd
I think
forgotten.
she spent so much focus on the spatial awareness, she forgot she was
forgot you
singing.
had to sing.
Maybe she was
in
using.
tune.
What if she used a 3-dimensional stave, and because she only had one eye, she couldn't see the spaces between the notes, and this became confused.
Oh, that's why
it.
she was all over the shop.
I have to say, I mean, I know I'm not a fan of Madonna with a capital F. I have seen her live a couple of times just because she is a social
Me
phenomenon.
too. Yeah.
And live, she gives good show.
Right.
And she's a ledge.
Indeed.
A pledge.
There's slightly off-key performances, but that one was honestly like it was the Madonna's answer to Les Dawson playing the piano. It was like when somebody does comedy bad singing and you think, well, no one ever gets it that wrong.
In an audition for someone being tuneless, you would say, take it down a bit.
Yeah.
Wouldn't you? You'd say it's a bit over the top.
If we're all doing a metaphor, it was like, when the sat-nav drives into a bit of road that has been made new, and the tune was over there, and she was in a sort
Yes.
of no man's
Yes,
land.
it didn't register the new roundabout. But as I said to Lorraine Kelly only this week, we can forgive.
Clang.
We can forgive.
Name drop, Frank.
Do you want to get the Hoover out?
We can forgive Madonna a lot because she comes over as such a lovely person.
The best of Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
Question.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
Cleb Butler wants to know, did you get a ticket to the World Cup in the end or watch it at home?
Well,
Can I say I had numerous people getting in touch to ask me that very same question.
yeah, I was in a state of some anxiety last
And this
week.
is World Cup cricket.
World Cup
not,
cricket.
Not any other sport.
And can I say I gave a bit of a shout out asking people to get in touch, and which I was embarrassed about. Because I felt it was a bit tacky, to
was
use my
also-
favourite word at the moment.
Tacky. I've meant you do something tacky.
It was also a bit needs must because you were looking through your contacts in the daytime. I'll get you a ticket, Frank, and I think you started to feel the panic and the clock run out.
I did.
Yeah, it was bravado.
Yeah.
Anyway, I got I had a nap. I had an afternoon nap
Brilliant.
that Saturday because I had a gig in the evening, and when I woke up, there was a message saying, "Oh, you've been offered a ticket," but I said that I'm supposed to get back to them straight away, and it was like an hour and a half.
No.
And this is from someone I work with, and I thought, see, he didn't say yes. He said, well, I'll ask him. Just in case. I said, you know what? I don't think... Anyway, so I had about 2 hours of super anxiety. And then I had a text that said, you have a ticket confirmed for tomorrow.
Great.
And I tell you what I did. It was quite a nice day on Saturday in London, and the door to the garden was open. I went into the garden and ran round the lawn about 4 times, just to burn off the excitement that had hit me.
Still in only your pyjama top after your nap. Is that what it was?
Can I say
It's a
Al,
private garden. Isn't it?
Yeah, and you know what? That breeze felt good.
I've got a confession to make. I did try. I left here on Saturday. I looked up the sponsors. I ticked
Wow.
off ones that were suitable.
Oh,
Many
wow.
of them weren't, as I'm afraid they were alcohol-based.
Oh,
and I thought, what if he has to pose with the
Yeah,
product?
no.
Yeah, I'd have done that.
There was
I tell you what, I'd have probably drank it.
There was a tyre company. I thought, what if they make him pose in there like a chimp? It's going to be all
God,
unfortunate.
that would have been great.
I got in touch with a car company in the end.
You never.
Yeah, I did. I got quite far.
Did you? Wow.
Yes. Yeah, so,
Who was it? Audi. And they said no because
We've
it's
heard
been
him
saying
slagging us off.
we got the most aggressive. I'll tell you something about Audi.
Oh,
on
yes.
that top. It is my theory that by a country mile, the most aggressive drivers on the road are Audi drivers, and I experience this on a regular
find
basis.
out which events they sponsor, please, just so I know.
Yeah, and when I was on, I got the bus to Lords for the cricket final.
Oh.
And we were just getting close,
Keeping it real.
where an Audi pulled in front of the bus with really was nearly an accident, to the point where the driver got out of his, what would you call it, his cubicle?
Yeah.
His wheel cubicle.
Yeah.
He got out of there and
I like that.
he got off the bus. And it was a woman driver, and she had a real verbal go out in an Audi, and then did an illegal right turn.
Anyway,
Yes.
we won't be getting tickets off them for the cricket. But I did try, Frank.
No, I appreciate
I finally
that,
got
believe
a
me.
reply from the car company on the Monday morning saying, "Oh, sorry, we weren't able to help you. We'd love to have you in the future." I said, "Oh, he managed to get a ticket in the end." And then I thought, well, yeah, of course they would have seen you because you were on the big screen.
I was on the big screen, but what about my manager? He said, I found Sky. I thought, sorted. I had nothing. I said, did Sky just say no? And he replied, that's exactly what they said. Thanks for that.
The best of Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I played a stupid game of chance this week. I was I was out on a dog walk with my family, the 2 junior cockerels and Mrs. Cockerel, and we took the football with us to just have a kickabout.
Yeah.
Because females play football too on dog walks.
No, they do. It's World Cup this year.
So we got to the goals bit and we were playing
What did you use as posts, or did
Goal posts, yeah.
Oh, goal posts. They're old. One.
Yeah, we're quite trad like that. And my son had went to get the ball to collect it from behind the goal, and as he's running back, he kicked it out of his hands to sort of boot it onto the pitch, if you like.
Yeah.
And 1,000,000 to 1 chance it goes up in the air and hits the crossbar and bounces back, and he catches it in his hands again. Right? Like,
Nice.
incredible. And I, for a laugh, blurted out, "If you do that again, I'll give you 100 quid." And he did. Like, exactly the same thing again.
Wow.
Brutal.
Well, how far back is it?
Absolutely brutal. Probably about
It's brutal.
maybe 20, 25 feet, something like that.
Okay.
Just total fluke. There's no way that he's...
Well, he did it twice.
I mean, frankly, he's not that good at football that he can kick it
Don't get
against a
bitter.
bar from that
Don't
distance.
get bitter with him because you have to give him. Did you give him the 100 quid?
Yes, I've given him the £100.
£100?
All through the show, I've been thinking, what's wrong with Alan? He's pensive. He's preoccupied.
He's not been himself all morning.
No,
I've also put a bread knife through every football in the house as well, I'll tell you that for nothing.
Oh, and the whippet.
What are the
That's
chances?
so angry he was.
So,
Wow.
I mean, amazing.
that's a lot of money.
Oh, man.
But what's the
To any of us,
I
but
will
to
say
you,
this,
that will
though.
cause you physical pain.
We laughed our head off for about, well,
When you say we,
yeah, they
You
laughed
did.
their head off. I sobbed, but they laughed.
I
a lot.
Did he
imagine.
march you to the cash point like they used
No,
to
he
do
was
when
very-
gentlemen
he
had
knew
left
that it was coming.
strip bars, I believe.
Well,
They were all laughing.
Cockerel
and
Jr. must have been as happy as he's ever been in his life.
Yes,
Can you
yeah.
imagine? Not only,
almost worth it for that.
I'd be happy to do
Almost.
just to do it twice is brilliant. But
Yes.
well, of course,
Yeah.
you wouldn't have been able to have enjoyed the moment. That's the
No, I
But the
found it.
joy of it.
Oh,
But
the
why
joy.
did that fall out of my face at that moment? Like, oh, if you can do that again, I'll give you... What a stupid thing to say.
Reckless.
And I've said some stupid things in my life, but that one's up there.
Come on.
Put yourself down.
That one's
No.
up there.
Well, but well done you for paying it. I know there would have been a dozen loopholes dancing around your mind, but no,
Yeah, I did try and create some small print, but
you came up with
£100 though, Al. I mean, you went high there.
I know.
Has he
but I
spent it
didn't
yet?
You
think-
started too high.
Yeah, he's bought
shares.
Yeah.
Shares in British Gas.
Put it in a mini cash ISA. No, I'm
Oh,
kidding.
okay. Yeah, like father. Well, to you on the sense of improvement and progress, I went to the new Tottenham Hotspur Stadium
Oh, yeah.
for a game.
How was that?
Sorry for your loss.
It's no, they won.
So Huddersfield Wallaby.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
know, Al. Paul, I'm sorry,
Yes,
Al.
I'm sorry. We were playing Huddersfield.
I mean, yeah.
We. Oh,
We?
my God.
What's happened to you?
What the OMG?
I can't do the rest of the show.
OMG. You can't do the rest of your life.
Oh my.
OMG.
No.
I take it back about
We.
things getting better.
Oh,
He just
no.
said we.
I'm
Yeah.
sorry.
He just said we.
Have you got any of that chlorodil? I can't. That's genuinely upset me.
Yeah, I know.
Oh man! Thank goodness we got a break.
This is the best of Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
I arrived at the studios today in Golden Square, London,
Yes.
and the first thing I noted was in one of the newspapers there was an interview with Pochettino,
Oh, yes.
The,
Love
the,
a bit of potch.
the manager of Tottenham Hotspur. In many ways, the current custodian of the whole black chicken ethos,
Yes.
and
We should say, Frank, that's what your son Buzz calls
that's what my son described the badge as.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Poch, as he's generally known, revealed in this morning's, I think it was the Mirror, it could have been the Sun. It's a very fine line.
A lot of overlapping content.
Oh, a
Shit.
great deal of overlapping content.
I mean, I heart news, but it's difficult
Yeah.
to know which news
I
I'm
heart
reading.
news, but I don't heart that point in the middle of one of those papers when suddenly it's adverts for holidays and you can go to Las Vegas with Michael
don't-
Greco. How did that happen? Anyway,
Get me on that black.
anyway, the interview with Poch
Yes.
says that he always keeps lemons, a bowl of lemons in his office,
Does he?
because he feels that negative energy goes into lemons.
Oh, a scientist, I hear.
And he said, so if,
Yes.
if
All
you,
the sourness.
you know, it's that, let's say, for example, that that Wanyama comes in asking why he's not in the first team enough. Such will be the level of negativity in the air in that he'll look across at the Lemons post
he's looked up.
debate,
Yeah.
and they will have become slightly grizzled by antagonistic conversation.
Does he witness this happening then?
Well, I don't think he...
The grizzling of the grizzling of the Lemons.
I don't want to put words in Potch's mouth.
Frank, is the grizzling of the Lemons the follow-up to Silence of the Lambs?
I hope so. The grizzling of the Lemons is chapter 7 in my book on ageing for the male body. But anyway, it's an interesting thing, and I like the fact that he's spoken about. He speaks a lot about the energy that we all need to embrace.
Oh.
And I don't know if anyone has read...
working with Noel Edmonds a lot.
What he hasn't been working with is someone who knows the history of Glenn Hoddle's management career. But anyway, can I say, at this point, what about if we get some melons generally for the studio, just in case there are any...
Some lemons.
In case any neg comes in.
I'm a huge lemon fan. I don't know if you're aware of this.
Are you?
Oh, I used to eat them. I mean, I would sometimes...
Used to eat lemons?
No, right.
You know, she was hypnotised.
I only use them for negative absorption
Do you
myself.
eat a whole lemon, though, Frank? I would.
Oh,
Do you
what?
whole lemon?
No.
No, not like a peach, but I would cut it in half. Okay, let's
And
say...
once you cut it in half, I have never cut a lemon in half without taking the end that's got the nodule on it, holding it against my neck and saying to someone, will you burst this for me? I have never been able to resist that prop joke. But you will sit and eat a lemon.
I would cut it in half. For example, if I was having...
My mouth's watering. Is that normal?
No, yes,
Mine
it is.
isn't.
It's very normal, but I'll do a button up. But what it is, Frank...
I thought you were just naturally disapproving. Turns out.
Frank, I love a lemon. I love a lemon.
Well, I didn't see that coming.
If you had a Coca-Cola drink and you had ice and a lemon, would you eat the whole lemon afterwards? The piece of
well,
lemon
I wouldn't
in
have it with a whole lemon in it.
No, but would
What,
you
a
eat...
lemon float?
Would you pop...
Quite a rustic bartender.
Would you pop the medieval bar? Would you pop that piece of lemon into your mouth afterwards?
Oh, yeah, I'd eat a little slice, but you're talking about taking on the whole fruit. I mean, God, that'd have to be a very negative... that would have to be divorce settlement discussions.
The best of Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.
And let me tell you something that might warm you to, Potch.
Yeah.
I was in hospitality at the Tottenham Stadium.
I thought that was your funny comedy name for hospital.
At the last,
Hospitality.
the last game of the season, there was no clash with West Bromwich Albion. I've no guilt about it. And we were in there post-match, and we were talking to a couple of Tottenham legends, Cliff Jones and Steve Perryman. Buzz very excited to get their autographs. This is my son, Buzz, who's a Tottenham fan. And then I was talking to them, and I looked, and Buzz had disappeared. And you know that moment when you can't see where your child is, that clenched stomach. Oh, where's he gone? And I looked across the room, and he was in full conversation with Pochettino. And I thought, oh, no, because he's come up here post-match. He's come up to relax. He doesn't want to be... So I thought, well, this... If he's sort of off with Buzz, that'll be so heartbreaking. So I scurried across quickly to rescue him. I could hear Buzz just finish saying, I think you're the... probably the greatest manager of all time. At which
What
point...
did Potch do?
Potch held his face between his hands and kissed him on the top of the head in a really lovely way.
Nice.
I'm actually going to cry.
And Buzz asked him for an autograph, and I was saying, "Look, I'm sorry about this," and he goes, "No, it's fine." And he signed the autograph, and he wrote. This is what he wrote. He wrote to Buzz. He asked him his name on. He says to Buzz, and then he wrote in block capitals. And he's Argentinian, so you know. He wrote in block capitals, "My best friend is you."
Excellent.
My best friend is you. I want that on a T-shirt.
That's lovely.
And
This is extraordinary. I mean,
How
know.
can you compete with this
I know,
on the
and
present
that's
front?
because all the negativity has been taken out of pots
yeah.
by
lemons.
adjacent lemons.
Well, my recycling bin's going to be full of lemons in the future weeks, isn't
Can I
it?
tell you one tiny sentimental postscript to that? When I went to give Boz his goodnight kiss that night, he was fast asleep, and just sticking out from underneath his pillow, I could see the signed programme
nice.
with Potty's signature.
Do you know, I find that so lovely. I love having a bit of footballers' memorabilia in the bedroom.
Well, just to
It's
squeeze a little...
something I feel very... just makes me happy.
It wouldn't be the first
No?
time, obviously. But no, it's lovely. But lovely. Onto the pillow, on
Yeah.
the pillow.
Yeah.
But just to sprinkle a little bit of lemon juice on this super sweet thing, as we were leaving the Tottenham hospitality, I heard a voice say, "Well, he didn't ask me for an autograph." And I turned around, it was Lord Sugar. Bit of sugar and lemon, honestly. It's like having a big pancake, this anecdote.
Shrove
And
Spurs.
so he then came over and signed the thing as well. We went down in the lift with Lord Sugar. Now, how did he do this? Have you ever tried calling anyone in a lift? Reception is impossible in
Yeah,
a
it
lift.
doesn't
Very
happen.
absurd.
I imagine Frankie had some huge 1992 sort of car phone, like Dom Jolly phone.
No, but when we got to the bottom of the lift, we're in the car park, the door opens, and there is AMS1,
Oh, yes.
is Bentley.
It's Roller Bentley.
With the blokes, the chauffeur standing with the back door held open. Now, either he's been standing there for an hour with it held open
Right.
like that, or there's some signal that says, "I'm coming
Yeah.
down, get the door open."
Excellent.
Yeah.
What I like is Buzz is the only autograph hunter I know where celebrities fight over him asking for the autograph.
What about if Lord Sugar had kissed him on the head? I wonder what would have happened then. It would have been a bit like the old lemons during the Wanyama conversation. Buzz would have shrivelled to a tiny gremlin figure. Oh, what larks, Mr. Pip.
The best of Frank Skinner.
Absolute Radio.
I'll tell you what, look, I had a first this week.
Oh.
Yes. She was 35. I mean, it was all above board. No.
Goodness me.
I had a first. I had my first ever book club.
Oh, you
have you ever
didn't.
done it?
I've never done one, but I
No,
like the idea.
absolutely not, and never would.
You never done. Oh, that's
Okay.
interesting. You
No,
say that.
go
Why,
on.
can I ask you why not?
Well, you can, but I'd like to know about your book club first, please.
I'd like
Okay.
to ask about the pressure of the deadline. Doesn't it mean that you
Yes.
have to read by a certain day? Like,
Oh,
I'm
yeah,
meeting
but
them on
that's-
Wednesday, so I've got to finish.
Yeah, but that's
It's an enjoyable thing, is it?
well. My partner managed to string it out for just over a year.
What, a book club?
Yeah, we'd all read it. We're all ready, and she hadn't read it yet. So we all had to read it again before we actually had the back. Anyway, so it was.
Yes.
It sort of reminded me of being back at in higher education,
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yes.
both at Birmingham Polytechnic and Warwick University, my alma mater. And I sometimes fantasise about going back into education.
Academia.
Yeah.
Well, that's connected to my reason for my reluctance to join the book club.
Oh, is
Not
it?
that I've been invited, but, Anyway, as you
It
were.
wasn't quite the same as being at uni. No one stole my milk. Anyway, so I know the first rule of book club is there is no book club, but I'm going to talk about it anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm
And-
surprised we're even talking about it. I thought
Yeah,
it was fun.
and I thought it was the best night. I loved it.
Oh, good.
I thought it was great. And I thought, wow, I just want to do book club after book club. Turns out, I think it was Bab Streisand that says time has rewritten every line.
Right.
Turns out that people were upset. They felt that I talked over them, that I was dismissive of their opinions.
Do you know what? I was about to say when you said you thought it was great, I thought, I wonder if...
How do we...
I was boorish.
How do
I was
we handle-
Were you boorish?
boorish.
Boring.
I was brusque.
Oh,
Al, do you want to handle this one?
no, I'm just going to hear him out.
I can't think of anything else I was beginning with B that I can say
Sorry,
on breakfast.
these accusations were levelled at you in
I
general.
was brusque, apparently.
Oh.
And boorish. Both of those things.
Did you dominate the discussion a bit?
I didn't feel I did. I thought I was being really restrained.
Did other people miss a point of the book and you bring it to their attention? Because
Oh, I can see him doing that.
I can
The
see me
point
being the
of
point
it-
misser.
The point of it is that you can share your... You know, if someone has an opinion which you don't agree with, I think it's all right to say I don't agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. What sort of tone did you use when you said?
I honestly thought it was. I thought it was a lovely. I don't know. It's honestly. It's like I was at a different book club. You know that feeling when you feel like you're at a
Yeah.
different book club. I spoke to my personal assistant about it the next day.
Was she there?
And what did
No,
she-
she wasn't there.
Take her everywhere.
What did she say?
Yeah, she was handling my yellow stickies. If you'll pardon the expression. And she said it sounds like hell on earth. I mean, what she said to me.
A lot of hell on this show recently.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's the third acknowledgement of hell
Yeah.
this week. A member of Little Mix and Donald Tusk.
We're all at it.
Yeah,
Been a lot of hell
I
in
think
the
there's
news
been a
lately.
shift towards belief this week. But she actually said this. She said, one thing I would never do is join a book club. And I thought,
Yeah.
this is book clubs we're talking about, not like a dogfighting syndicate.
No, I'm with that.
A book club, the most benign, bookish. It's bookish,
It
a
is
book club.
bookish.
You can't get around that. But honestly, you
I'm
would
with
think
her, Frank.
people were talking about that night like Vietnam vets.
This is the best of Frank Skinner on Absolute Radio.
The Queen has put a picture up on Instagram this week.
It's a new convert like Frank.
Always copying me.
You think?
Well, she started Twitter in 2014, which is, I think, a similar time to when the show
Queen
started.
started Twitter.
Yeah,
Yeah,
It's
she
that
did.
guy Jack Dorsey.
Jack Doe. She.
He loves a bird. He's from the
That's what
90s.
it's called.
Legend.
Jack Doe. Is that why they called it Twitter? Because it's invented by Jack Doe.
See. No,
Could be though,
Do
couldn't
you
it?
know,
Don't think
it
so.
might be.
I think it's called Twitter because
It would be tenuous and disappointing, but it might be.
I don't think it would. I'd be happy with it.
apparently it's called
Jackdaw.
Twitter because birds sing about what they're doing right now, and that's what it was meant to be. It's like micro blogging of what you're doing right now. So really, I think
Is that
in
what
its-
birds sing? Do they say, I am on
yeah, I'm on a
flying
telegraph
into a
pole.
tree?
Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I'd love to hear
I
that.
heard
so, yeah.
geese. I think at the time I was applying underarm deodorant this morning,
Oh yeah.
Lynx?
and I heard, no, I didn't need one, and I heard geese. You know, a V formation of geese went
yeah.
over, and whenever you hear them, so they went over going,
Yeah.
and I thought that did that all the time. I felt like one of them was going, I can't fly. I forgot that. You're all right, Steve. You're all right. You can. Oh God, I can't fly. Steve, you're fine. Honestly, you're fine. That's what it felt like.
Can I say that was a bit like growing up with actors, to be honest? But Frank, I'm fascinated to know that birds talk about... Do they live in the eternal present then?
I think so. Yeah.
Well, they've
What a lovely
obviously
thing.
read Eckhart Tolle's The Power of
Power
Now.
now, yeah.
But
The
how
mindfulness
detailed?
experts.
How
apparently.
detailed do they get about what they're doing? Oh, I'd love to hear what the birds say.
Yeah, we're crying her eyes out, of course, a lot of the time, according to Prince.
Oh, yeah.
What I'm saying is the Queen is just one step behind us. We do Twitter, she does Twitter.
She's
We do
copying you.
Instagram, she does
She's
Instagram.
copying you.
Well, she did the sort of
So
Instagram.
I'm going on Grindr tonight. We'll see how long that takes.
We are in the local area. She did the sort of post that I have to say I think you would do if you had your way, Frank, which was she posted a letter from the 19th century written by Charles Babbage.
She put a photo on Instagram of an old letter. It's like a sort of house of cards, house of mirrors of communication, isn't it?
But what I love about it, it's like a big moment that the Queen is doing Instagram, and so she basically she does a letter from 1843. She's adopted a sort of a softly approach to advancing technology.
I think she should have put a selfie up and called it Onestagram.
Yeah. Oh, come on.
That's very good.
That's the thing. She doesn't get writers in, though.
She's
better than that.
I'd have liked it. Here, get ready for this one.
Yeah.
I'd have liked it.
Here we go.
If somebody said you should put a hashtag on the thing, and then she'd have gone, oh, hashtag. And relax.
What would be very meta is if hashtag started trending. So the letter was from Prince Albert, who I know you're a fan of his work, Frank.
Prince Albert. Yeah, that rings a bell.
Oh dear.
Oh my goodness me.
But what I loved about it was that she made the whole process so
Great.
ladylike, and I think we can all learn something from how to use Instagram. She had a long black evening glove, which she took off when she pressed send. She took the glove off.
Really?
Oh.
Now, what she should have invested in are the
gloves that you can use.
The ones when you can take the end of the
with a sheer panel.
Yeah.
They probably don't do those in long.
In evening gloves.
In evening gloves.
Black silk evening gloves. She took the evening glove off and she gave it a little shake. And then she pressed send.
I can't see a person in a long glove and not think of the witches, the Roald Dahl things. She thinks she then took a wig off.
I always think of All Creatures Great and Small. She does all around birthing
Yeah.
at Balmoral.
The best of Frank Skinner. Absolute Radio.